Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome back again to Geography. Today, we're going to learn about the different ways of farming. Now, I hope everyone enjoyed the video that we have just watched today. And although there are many other types of farming, in grade 4, we are going to focus with subsistence farming as well as commercial farming. Now, the video that you just watched now did give you a more clear understanding. And I hope, boys and girls, that everyone has received their notes that I handed out on last week, Friday, as well as during this lesson. I have handed you guys your geography notes. So please make sure that you do have today's date. You have cut as well as stuck in these notes. Now, boys and girls, the notes that you received, they do look like this, and they do have the heading of ways of farming. You don't need to have a heading, as the heading is already on the notes. So please make sure that you highlight the heading, the ways of farming. Now, after the video that you have just seen now, we saw that there are two types of farming that we are going to learn about: subsistence farming as well as commercial farming. Now, boys and girls, once you have cut and pasted these notes in your workbook, please make sure that you have a highlighter ready. We are going to go over these notes and we are going to highlight the important parts from these notes. All right, boys and girls. Now, on our table, we have subsistence farming on our left-hand side, and we are going to start reading from there. Now, as we saw as well in the video, many people in South Africa and in other parts of the world grow their own crops, crops being plants that people plant and grow to use. If you take a very quick look at your top left-hand corner, you should see the meaning of the word crops and what crops are. Now, many people in South Africa grow their own crops and keep their own animals for food. Farmers who farm to feed themselves and their families are called subsistence farmers. Please highlight. Most of the work on the subsistence farm is done by women, children, and old people. And much of the work is done by hand using simple tools such as spades and hooves. Now, boys and girls, with the subsistence farm, it's basically a farm to sustain us. So the farmer, which would normally be the family man or the woman, would decide that they need another way in order for them to be able to eat. So they decide to start a farm, whether it's a small farm in their garden, or maybe if they have the space to accommodate a larger size farm, that's the farm that they will create in order to feed themselves and sometimes their neighbors. And also, if they do have a little extra, they will sell. But a subsistence farmer is someone who farms to feed themselves and their families. All right, I hope everyone understands. Now, on the right-hand side, now, if you're not going to be farming to feed yourself or your family, you obviously are farming and you are treating it as a business. This is what commercial farming is. Food that we buy in shops comes from big commercial farms. For example, the bread we buy from wheat is grown on commercial farms. So we normally go to the supermarket. So mommy and daddy goes to the supermarket and they get their groceries from the supermarket. How does that food get to the supermarkets? Most of it comes from commercial farming. So for example, wheat makes bread. So therefore, the big farm will then sell the wheat and to the bakery will in turn sell to the supermarket. Commercial farms grow crops or keep animals to sell. Crops grown for sale are called cash crops. Very important, boys and girls. Cash crops are crops that people grow in order to sell. Now, in order for you to be able to make a seeable profit from these cash crops, you need to sell them in large amounts. So for example, most farms who sell cash crops, you would find that they only plant one of each of these cash crops because you are trying to sell them in bigger amounts in order to feed not just yourself, but basically feed a whole city or town, or even maybe feed a whole country. All right. Most commercial farms grow only one crop. They grow a lot of this crop so that they can sell it. Sugar cane and mealies are examples of cash crops. Some farmers also keep livestock such as sheep, cattle, and chickens. Now, boys and girls, a commercial farm is completely different from, please make sure you do highlight what I have highlighted on the slide. And then, boys and girls, a commercial farm is completely different from a substance farm. A commercial farm is a big farm that caters to not just only the businessman himself and his family, but it also feeds, as I said, your cities, your towns. It gives food to supermarkets. So, for example, the cows would be livestock, meaning that they are animals kept by farmers. Those cows would then be slaughtered, would then be slaughtered, would then be sliced up into many different pieces and then sent out to the supermarkets, which then we in turn just buy from our Checkers or our Pick and Pay. All right. Now, a substance farm is a very small farm. They only farm what they need, and they have different types of crops within that farm. All right, boys and girls, I hope everyone does understand. Now, boys and girls, after you have watched this video as well as the first video, you have stuck in the notes, you are going to write activity 3. Activity 3 is underneath this video, and you are going to complete it in your workbook. Please make sure that you write the answer only and not the question. Thank you very much, boys and girls, and I'll talk to you again when we have geography.